speed maths, multiplication and division techniques. Let us now learn the various multiplication techniques, which can help us find out the product of two numbers in a faster way. The first technique is called split and merge, which is nothing but breaking the number into two parts, as per your convenience, and then merging the individual calculations. Let's take some examples to understand this concept. Multiply the numbers 12 and 23 in a given question. What we are going to do here is split one of the numbers and then merge the calculations. For example, 23 here can be taken as 20 plus 3. The product of 12 and 20 will be 240. Then, we also know that 12 into 3 is 36. We add both of them, which means we merge these calculations. We get the required answer, that is 240 plus 36 is 276. The other way of doing the same calculation is to split the number 12 into two parts, 10 and 2. We take 23 into 10 is 230 and 23 into 2 is 46. 230 plus 46 is 276. We get the same answer, 276, without writing any of the steps on paper. Let us look at the second example, which is 16 into 19. 19 is nothing but 20 minus 1. The product of 16 into 20 will be 320. Then, we also know that 1 into 16 is 16. We add both of them. When we merge these calculations, we get the required answer, that is 320 minus 16 is 304. Let's see how many of you can solve these 6 questions and get all 6 of them correct. Remember, friends, to get the answers to these questions, you need not write anything on paper. Answers for the given 6 questions. I hope all of you have got all 6 of them correct. Practice well on these. Make sure that you can do such simple calculations as quickly as possible next time onwards without writing anything on paper. The second technique for multiplication is how to multiply numbers that are close to 100. Let's take some examples to understand this concept. Multiply the numbers 98 and 103 in a given question. Our base here is 100. If we focus on the number 100, 100 minus 2 gives us 98. Similarly, 100 plus 3 gives us 103. You can take any one of these cross addition or differences. So, 98 plus 3 gives us 101. The first part of the answer is 101, followed by 2 zeros. The product of minus 2 into plus 3 will be minus 6. Then, 10,100 minus 6 gives us the required answer is 10,094. Let us look at the second example, which is 93 into 96. Here, 100 minus 7 gives us 93. Similarly, 100 minus 4 gives us 96. You can take any one of these cross differences. So, 93 minus 4 gives us 89. This is the first part of the answer. The product of minus 7 into minus 4 will be 28. Then, the required result is 8,928. Let us look at the third example, which is 102 into 107. Here, 100 plus 2 gives us 102. Similarly, 100 plus 7 gives us 107. You can take any one of these cross additions. So, 102 plus 7 gives us 109. This is the first part of the answer. The product of 2 into 7 will be 14. Then, the required result is 10,914. Let us look at another example, which is 108 into 116. Here, 100 plus 8 gives us 108. Similarly, 100 plus 16 gives us 116. You can take any one of these cross additions. So, 108 plus 16 gives us 124. This is the first part of the answer. The product of 8 into 16 will be 128. Then, the sum of 12,400 and 128 will be the required result, that is 12,528. The third technique for multiplication is how to multiply numbers with 5 or 25 in less than 1 second. The number 5 can be taken as 10 divided by 2. Whenever you have to multiply a number by 5, to make it simple, you better take half of the number. That is a by 2 and then multiply it by 10. Let us take some examples to understand this concept. For example, 18 into 5. We know that half of 18 is 9. So, 9 into 10 would be 90. 24 into 5. Half of 24 is 12. So, 12 into 10 would be 120. Similarly, 36 into 5 is 180. 54 into 5 is 270. 57 into 5 is 285. 48 into 5 is 240. 72 into 5 is 360. 93 into 5 is 465. 132 into 5 is 610. 144 into 5 is 720. Next, we look at how to multiply numbers with 25. The number 25 can be taken as 100 divided by 2. Whenever you have to multiply a number by 25, to make it simple, you better take 1/4 of the number that is divided by 4 and then multiply it by 100. If you are smart, you can say that 1 by 4 is half the number and once again half the number. Let us take some examples to understand this concept. For example, 24 into 25. We know that half of 24 is 12. Once again half of 12 is 6. So, 6 into 100 would be 600. 32 into 25. Half of 32 is 16. Once again half of 16 is 8. So, 8 into 100 would be 800. Similarly, 48 into 25 is 1200. 64 into 25 is 1600. 72 into 25 is 1800. 26 into 25 is 650. 89 into 25 is 2225. 34 into 25 is 850. 77 into 25 is 1925. 54 into 25 is 1350. The fourth technique for multiplication is how to multiply complementary numbers. Complementary numbers are those where the sum of the units places is equal to 10 and the remaining part of the numbers are equal. Let us take some examples to understand this concept. For example, 43 and 47. As you can see here, the units place of the first number is 3 and the units space of the second number is 7. 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. The sum of the units place numbers is 10 and the tens place numbers are equal, which is 4. So, 43 and 47 here are referred to as complementary numbers. The first step is the multiplication of the units spaces. So, 3 into 7 is 21. The next step here is, to the remaining part of the number, which is 4 into the next integer, which is 5. So, 4 into 5 becomes 20. As you can see here, the multiplication of complementary numbers is a very simple process. First we multiply the unit spaces, write the result in the answer. Then take the tens place, and multiply with the next integer. Similarly, in the case of 181 and 189, the answer 1 into 9 is not 9, it is 0.9. Then, the product of 18 and the next integer. So, 18 into 19 is 342. The answer here will be 34,209. Let's see how many of you can solve these 6 questions and get all 6 of them correct. Remember friends, to get the answers to these questions, you need not write anything on paper. Answers for the given 6 questions, I hope all of you have got all 6 of them correct. Practice well on these. Make sure that you can do such simple calculations as quickly as possible next time onwards without writing anything on paper. The 5th technique for multiplication is how to multiply numbers using a plus b into a minus b formula. Let's take some examples to understand this. Multiply the numbers 64 and 56 in a given question. What we are going to do here is split the numbers and perform the calculations. Here, 64 can be taken as 60 plus 4, and 56 can be taken as 60 minus 4. It becomes a plus b into a minus b format. We know that a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. So, 60 plus 4 into 60 minus 4, which becomes 60 square minus 4 square. 60 square is 3,600, and 4 square is 16. 3,600 minus 16 will be 3,584 is the final answer. Let us look at another example, 78 into 82. Here, 78 can be taken as 80 minus 2, and 82 can be taken as 80 plus 2. So, 80 minus 2 into 80 plus 2, which becomes 80 square minus 2 square. 80 square is 6,400, and 2 square is 4. 6,400 minus 4 will be 6,396 is the final answer. Let's see how many of you can solve these 8 questions and get all 8 of them correct. Remember friends, to get the answers to these questions, you need not write anything on paper. Answers for the given 8 questions, I hope all of you have got all 8 of them correct. Practice well on these. Make sure that you can do such simple calculations as quickly as possible next time onwards without writing anything on paper. The 6th technique for multiplication is how to multiply numbers from 11 to 19. Generally, multiplication with 11 can be done with the concept of split and merge, which means 11 can be taken as 10 plus 1. So the given number can be taken 10 times and then one more time to get the required answer. However, when the numbers grow large, going by split and merge may become a little complicated. So here let's see how to multiply the given number from 11 to 19 on paper, but in a very simple way. The simple procedure here is, each of the digits given in the number has to be multiplied with 1, and always we need to add the previous digit before we take the answer. For example, the first step here is the number 1 in the units place into 2, which is equal to 2, and as we have nothing before 2, simply we can take 2 in the answer directly, which means the first step is to multiply 1 with the units place of the given number. 1 into 2 is 2. The second step here is this one has to be multiplied with 3. 1 into 3 is equal to 3 plus the previous digit 2. So, 1 into 3 is 3 plus 2 will give us 5. Similarly, moving on with the remaining digits, 1 into 7 is 7 plus the previous digit 3. 7 plus 3 is 10. So we get 0 in answer and 1 gets carried forward. The next step here is 1 into 1, which is 1 plus 7. So, 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 should be taken in answer. But, as we have 1 as a carry here, 8 plus 1 becomes 9. So 9 is the number here. Finally, the last step here would be, we need to consider a 0 before the number, so 1 should be multiplied with 0. 1 into 0, 0 plus 1 will give us 1, so 0 plus 1 is 1, and that will come in the last step of the answer. The answer for 1, 7, 3, 2 multiplied with 11 is 19,052. Let us look at another example. 43,172 into 19. The first step here is the number 9 in the units place into 2, which is equal to 18, and as we have nothing before 2, simply we can take 8 in the answer directly and 1 in carry. The second step here is this 9 has to be multiplied with 7. 9 into 7 is equal to 63 plus the previous digit 2, and carry 1 will give us 66. We can take 6 in the answer directly and 6 in carry. Similarly, we perform calculations. The answer for 4, 3, 1, 7, 2 multiplied with 19 is 820,268. Let's see how many of you can solve these 4 questions and get all 4 of them correct. Answers for the given 4 questions. I hope all of you have got all 4 of them correct. Practice well on these. The 7th technique for multiplication is how to multiply 2-digit numbers. A general technique, which will help us to multiply any type of 2-digit number. So let us take some examples to understand this. Let's say we have to multiply the numbers 89 and 64. The first step is to multiply both the units places. The second step is to cross the multiplication of units places and tens places. The third step is to multiply the 10 spaces. With these 3 steps, we can directly write down the answer. As I mentioned, the first step here is to multiply the unit spaces that are 9 and 4. 9 into 4 is 36. So, we take 6 in the answer and 3 gets carried forward. The second step here is cross multiplication of units places and tens places, which means 8 should be multiplied with 4, 6 has to be multiplied with 9, and their sum has to be obtained. So 8 into 4 is 32. 6 into 9 is 54. Then, 32 plus 54 is 86. 3 is already carried forward. So, 86 plus 3 is 89. So, we take 9 in the answer, and now, 8 is carried forward in the last. The final step here is to multiply the tens places, that is, 8 into 6 is 48. 48 plus 8 is 56. So, the answer here will become 5, 6, 9, 6. Let's see how many of you can solve these 5 questions and get all 5 of them correct. Answers for the given 5 questions. I Hope all of you have got all 4 of them correct. Practice well on these. The 8th technique for multiplication is how to multiply 3-digit numbers. A general technique, which will help us to multiply any type of 3-digit number. So let us take some examples to understand this. Let's say we have to multiply the numbers 386 and 724. The first step is to multiply both the units places. The second step is to cross the multiplication of units places and tens places. In the third step, which is the most important one, here we multiply units places with hundreds of places of opposite numbers and the tens places and add all these 3 products. The fourth step is to cross the multiplication of tens places and hundreds of places. The fifth step is to multiply the hundreds of spaces. With these 5 steps, we can directly write down the answer. As I mentioned, the first step here is to multiply the unit spaces that are 6 and 4. 6 into 4 is 24. So, we take 4 in the answer and 2 gets carried forward. The second step here is cross multiplication of units places and tens places, which means 8 should be multiplied with 4, 6 has to be multiplied with 2, and their sum has to be obtained. So 8 into 4 is 32. 6 into 2 is 12. Then, 32 plus 12 is 44. 2 is already carried forward. So, 44 plus 2 is 46. So, we take 6 in the answer, and now, 4 is carried forward. In the third step, multiply units places with hundreds of places of opposite numbers and the tens places. That is, 3 into 4 is 12, 6 into 7 is 42, and 8 into 2 is 16. The sum of all these 3 products 12 plus 42 plus 16 becomes 70. 4 is already carried forward. So, 70 plus 4 is 74. So, we take 4 in the answer, and now, 7 is carried forward. The fourth step here is cross multiplication of tens places and hundreds of places, which means 3 should be multiplied with 2. 8 has to be multiplied with 7, and their sum has to be obtained. So 3 into 2 is 6. 8 into 7 is 56. Then, 6 plus 56 is 62. 7 is already carried forward. So, 62 plus 7 is 69. So, we take 9 in the answer, and now, 6 is carried forward. The final step here is to multiply the hundreds of places. That is, 3 into 7 is 21. 21 plus 6 is 27. So, the answer here will become 2, 7, 9, 4, 6, 4. Let's see how many of you can solve these 2 questions and get all 2 of them correct. Answers for the given 2 questions. I hope all of you have got all 2 of them correct. Practice well on these. The 9th technique for multiplication is how to multiply 2-digit numbers with 3-digit numbers. Multiplication of a 3-digit number with another 2-digit number is as good as multiplying 2 3-digit numbers. What we only need to do here is, this 2-digit number has to be converted into a 3-digit number. That can be done simply by placing a 0 in front of 2 digits. The reason behind keeping it 0 here is that, once this number becomes a 3-digit number, we can apply the same 5-step procedure of 3-digit multiplication. Let's say we have to multiply the numbers 6, 9, 4 and 0, 7, 3. With the help of a 5-step procedure, we can directly write down the answer. 694 into 073 is 50,662. Let's see how many of you can solve the question. Answers to the given question. Next, we move on to learn division tricks. The first example here is 520 divided by 6. We try to break 520 into two parts, and can be taken as 480 plus 40. 480 will be divisible by 6. So here, 520 should be taken as 480 plus 40 divided by 6. So, this can be taken as 480 by 6, plus 40 by 6. 480 divided by 6 is 80. Since 40 is not divisible by 6, we try to break it into two parts and can be taken as 36 plus 4. Because 36 is divisible by 6. So, this becomes 36 divided by 6 plus 4 divided by 6. We know that 36 by 6 is equal to 6, and the extra part that we have a fraction 4 by 6 is 2 by 3, which is 0.66. So, 80 plus 6 plus 0.66. 520 divided by 6 give us 86.66. The procedure appears to be lengthy, but if you practice this way, will take less time when compared to the regular procedure. Let us look at another example here. Is 567 divided by 23. We try to break 567 into two parts, and can be taken as 460 plus 107. 460 will be divisible by 23. So here, 567 should be taken as 460 plus 107 divided by 23. So, this can be taken as 460 by 23, plus 107 by 23. 460 divided by 23 is 20. Since 115 is not divisible by 23, we try to break it into two parts and can be taken as 115 minus 8. Because 115 is divisible by 23. So, this becomes 115 divided by 23 minus 8 divided by 23. We know that 115 by 23 is equal to 5, and the extra part that we have a fraction 8 by 23. If you are smart, 8 divided 24 is 1 by 3, which is 0.33. We take this approximate value. So, 20 plus 5 minus 0.33. 5,670 divided by 23 give us approximately 24.66. The procedure appears to be lengthy, but if you practice this way will take less time when compared to the regular procedure. Let's see how many of you can solve these three questions and get all three of them correct. Answers for the given three questions. I hope all of you have got all three of them correct. Practice well on these. Thank you. Subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon to get regular updates from our channel.